Yes. Welcome once again, everyone. If you're watching this live, of course, that means, as it always does, it's Wednesday at noon Eastern Time. It is time for the High Noon Hemp Show. You can find us in many places, of course, Facebook, the Hemptations Beach Facebook page, the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and at Hemptations on Twitter. Podcast version of the show, Podbean, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Just search the High Noon Hemp Show. I'm Stoner Jesus. He is Beach, high above the Hemptations location in Sharonville, Ohio, at the Hemp Quarters. Beach, how are things this week in the world of Hemptations?
Things are decently okay, I suppose. The weather's kind of playing along. It's not too bad. We are. It is true. I am Beach. I am sitting high above the Sharonville location in the Planet Everywhere studios for the High Noon Hemp Show. And remember, the FDA has not evaluated the High Noon Hemp Show for its safety or efficacy.
That's right.
Just so you know, more on the FDA later in the show, of course. But I guess the big news, we're in the last week now of voting for the best of here in Cincinnati. And so we would appreciate your vote and telling your friends to vote and having the internet help us vote one way or another. We place in the top 3 of the top categories. We have yet to place for the podcast category. That was kind of tough. We were late to come to the podcast game, and being a video show that actually takes the video out to make it a podcast. I don't think that's how most places do it, but I don't know. Maybe. I can't keep up. I have never been a podcast person, follower, doer kind of thing. I've seen podcasts. I thought, hey, that sounds interesting, but then I've never actually listened to any podcast. I've never listened to a podcast from start to finish ever in my life. It seems so weird to say. I feel like people out there, holy geez, really? But it's true. Honestly, I have never listened to a podcast from start to finish. I feel like I've gone and maybe listened to a little. I don't even know if I've ever I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know that I've ever even listened to a podcast, period.
Wow.
So I know, and there's probably some pretty good hemp ones that I probably should be listening to out there. I don't doubt that. But yeah, it's just, between that and never watching Breaking Bad, I feel like really missing out somehow.
The Arthur Breaking Bad thing, that was an amazing show, but podcast, you can probably live without them, except for ours, of course.
Except for ours, that's right. Yeah, no. So anyway, I do, again, we have one smoke shop. So I don't know how many times, honestly. That's probably the biggest one we've won. We just 2 years ago, I think for the first time, won the Green Sustainable. We usually placed, but never won. We won the Green Sustainable. We got knocked off. We got second last year. So we're hoping maybe to regain that. Again, I'll take a top 3 place, but that's that to me, I wear that one with pride. Being voted best of or one of the best of green sustainable stores in the high state area is that's what I have. That's what we opened the stores for 27 years ago, just so 27 years ago. And so in the past we have won, and it's not a category anymore, but I know we won best store name one year. I'm pretty sure the year after we opened, we won best new store. There's been a couple of other ones that we've won. I think, and I can't remember if it was them or Cincinnati Magazine. They said best use for grass. That was actually, I can't remember. I don't know if that was a city beat, part of city beat or not, but that was something that we won, so to speak. Best use for grass. And then, the CBD category is obviously new. For reference, we've been selling CBD for, I could almost say 15 years now. Honestly, I know for a fact at least 12 years because we were selling CBD in 2010. I'm positive of that. We were selling it way before it was legal to grow in the United States. And I truly believe that we should be up there as well as, probably as well as anyway, because, we sell clean, true CBD products. We've got it in a little bit in every form, no matter how you need it or want to use it. Our brand is made locally, Kentucky grown, Kentucky processed, Kentucky manufactured, all of those good things. And so, that's why I do believe that, we should definitely be up there, if not win that category as well. So thanks everybody for voting, telling your friends, posting, take a shot at this. I posted it all over Facebook and Twitter. I'll probably go ahead and do that again. Maybe tonight just to remind everybody, but I think voting ends possibly Saturday or Sunday. I forget for sure. So get your votes in at vote.citybeat.com for Hemptations. You can write me into any category that you want. Local hero.
That's right.
Local bad guy. I don't know. It can be both. I don't. Environmentalist. I think I used to try to write myself in. They used to have an environmentalist person category, and I would try to write myself into that every year for a while, and then I just kind of gave up on that. I'm not even sure if it's a category anymore. I don't know positively, but anyway, do what you can for us. We appreciate it. So I do watch a lot of pop culture anyway, TV shows and movies and whatnot. And in the last month, I have heard mention of hemp on 4 shows that I've been watching.
Wow.
And so Bones, there's an episode of Bones where the guy, unfortunately, the person that was dead he was using hemp oil for his dreadlocks. But they analyzed that and found out he was using hemp oil on his dreadlocks. They mentioned it. And the other shows, and I'm going to totally flake on some of them. I'll have to go back and try to remind myself. One mentioned that they were going to weave something as strong as hemp. It's like, we're going to take these roots or something or whatever it was, and they said, we're going to weave them as strong as hemp. And then there was another mention of hemp fiber, I believe, and I can't believe I can't remember the 2 most recently. I'm gonna have to go back and really think about what shows I've been watching and where it's out there, and then get those clips and add them to the clips if you haven't seen it. And I usually run this like around the Earth Day show. I have a clip of all the TV shows that I've had that I videoed that talked about hemp in one way or another. And so now I need to add to that database. I got to remember these episodes and go back and add those to my mentions of hemp on TV shows and movies and whatnot. So fun stuff one way or another. Feel like it was Warehouse 13, which is one I've been. And again, I don't know if it was them that mentioned. I have to go back now. But anyway, it's funny how it usually if I watch it so long enough, and it's usually a cop show, or most of these are cop shows for the most part. I think The Librarians was one of them too. And again, it's hemp that they throw in there one way or somehow, some way. And it's usually positive. honestly, because they're using hemp products, hemp rope or whatever it may be. So anyway, and on Bob's Burgers, my favorite line is it hemp? That stuff's good for everything. It's probably my favorite hemp line of all the mentions of hemp on TV. Is it hemp? That stuff's good for everything. Anyway. All right, let's get on to the product spotlight here on the High Noon Hemp Show. We're going to start out with the Space Gods Delta 8, Delta 9 disposables. This is the kind of the week of the extract, I guess, or the extracts when it comes to products. These are very popular, and this actually contains, once again, Delta 9 live rosin. I'm gonna have to go and look up all these new, because I'm seeing live rosin, and I'm actually seeing live resin. I don't know if live resin is the same as live rosin. Seems like it would be. I don't know. But again, we can get Delta 9 legally from industrial hemp, and therefore we can legally sell it under the last Farm Bill, and state law, 100% legal. The next one, these are semi-new. We've been doing the cream disposables for a while, but these are called Cream Knockout. And this is actually THCO and THCP, which have been very, very popular as well recently. Once again, these two products and the next product come with a disclaimer that you honestly don't go get in your car and hit it a bunch and then go drive. Find out how this affects you physically before you decide to go out in public or do things, to be honest with you. There we are seeing physical side effects. That's why D8 is so popular. Because you're feeling something. Same with, I think, the THCO, THCP. There's side effects that you feel, and something called knockout. I think it's supposed to be very calming, very calming. Or on the indica side, I suppose, of cannabis. Not saying that this is indica, because that once you get to the isolate, it's not as important to where it came from, to be honest with you, as far as or sativa or indica or any of that. And so anyway, these are disposables, very, very super popular one way or another. Full lineup of the Enjoy Delta 9 syrup. So I figured, again, we would just go through everything pretty much that we have. Well, not quite everything. But this is, once again, D9, legally extracted from industrial hemp, 100% legal, and decently potent at 420 milligrams per bottle. I think I read on there a serving is a tablespoon, and there's 20 milligrams per tablespoon. So that's something where I would recommend a half a tablespoon to start, honestly, to see how and what it does. And again, we're seeing a lot of customers be able to up there, and I've been talking to customers. I'm in the store a couple of days a week these days, so these are testimonials, upping their legal over-the-counter pain management. Going, now because they kind of jumped up to the Delta 8 because I think it helps, but now they're jumping to Delta 9, which we know has had a past of known pain management. Just ask the NFL Players Union. More on that later, one way or another as well. And so we're really seeing how the legal Delta 9 is helping customers over the counter with an over the counter product that they need and want. And again, it's no different, I don't think, than taking the aspirin or Advil or any of the over the other counter. I don't know. They don't really cause side effects, whereas you're probably going to feel something a little bit with the Delta 9. As far as safety goes, they're as safe as any over the counter pain reliever that you can buy at any drugstore. And so, once again, and I say that knowing that there are no studies that have proven that Delta 9 impairs your ability to drive a motor vehicle. Okay. Now, they have proved without question that CBD is 100% safe to drive a motor vehicle on. Those studies have been done recently. There haven't been any new studies that we have seen, and there have never been any studies that actually have proven that, once again, Delta 9 causes you to not be able to drive a motor vehicle safely. Even the United States government found that out during World War II or right after war. I think it was World War II. They did a study because they wanted to find out what drugs they could give the enemies or try to give to find their way into the enemy to make them worse. And they found out that marijuana did not inhibit their soldiers' ability to drive a motor vehicle. Alcohol, yes. I think there was a couple others, yes. But anyway, and so they will write you a ticket for a DUI for cannabis if you admit to having cannabis in your system. Yet there is zero proof that driving a motor vehicle while high, so to speak, or with Delta 9 in your system, that's unsafe. So anyway, am I saying do it? No, I'm not saying get super high and whatever, but I know there are millions of Americans and there are millions of people worldwide that get high and go about their daily lives, and they do not cause any more harm than anyone that's not high, not causing any harm.
Yep.
And so, that is the truth, no matter what they say, what they try to convince us of, whatever their morals try to tell them. So the last product, we're going to, again, trying to cover the spectrum. Let's throw some CBD in there just to be safe. It is something we do a lot of, as I was mentioning earlier. We just got a batch of QC seltzers. Now, the disclaimer is they're expired. Now, they are still good. The expiration is more for the flavoring than the actual. It's just water. It's just water. And so, so we're doing them half price, $1.95 a can, $10 6 packs. While they last, when they're gone, I think they're gone. I've heard some unfortunate news, and I'm going to get the facts straight before I say anything, but we'll just go from there. So there you have it. There's the 4 from the store. Now the one from my door on the product. I don't know if I've done that a whole lot. The product spotlight, not the product spotlight, whatever I tried to say, is actually 2. So these are 2 of my bags. These are some old Ecolution bags. I should have turned them a little bit, but the one on the left there, that's like an old school, basically fanny pack. The one on the right is what I call Andre the Giant's fanny pack. It's like a huge, I think they called it more kind of a sling bag, I think is more the definition. It's just a one strap kind of, but it is like literally just a super large version of the fanny pack. And so I feel like someday, like, if I ever made a hemp comedy somehow, I would be the hemp guy that uses that big bag as his fanny pack. And now that I'm picturing it, I feel like I have to do something. Oh my gosh, like hemp, the hemp tourist. I'm going to do a short called The Hemp Tourist. I'm gonna go visit places with my big giant fanny pack on. Oh my god, I'm just cracking myself up here thinking about it. But I feel like it's a great idea. I do. Anyway, so there you have it from my door. A couple of classic Ecolution bags, and Ecolution made some of the best hemp products ever made in the history of hemp. I'm pretty sure every Ecolution bag that I have is still in pretty decent shape now. I know that I know a lot of customers wore them out because they used them every day, one way or another. But they really made super high quality, and they may still exist. I shouldn't say Ecolution stuff doesn't exist, because I think somebody was trying to keep the Ecolution name and product line alive. So I may have to look into that to see. But what a great line of products, and I hope still exist. I hope the company's still out there. I'll check into that. You can check into that. Google Ecolution Hemp. See what pops up. Oh, there you have it, folks, on the product spotlight. 1 from my door. I'm sorry, 4 from the store, 1 from my door.
There you go.
Now,
if City Beat ever gets a category for best video internet segment, I don't see how we could lose. If you want to write us in, go through the process of writing us in for something like that, that would be great. Whatever it takes, because we will destroy all competition with this segment, and we do it every week. It's really the linchpin that holds the whole show together from the beginning to the end, and everything. Everybody comes together for the beachwear segment because they want to see. They're clamoring. The people are clamoring to see what Beach is wearing, which is why I ask him every single week, "What are you wearing, Beach?"
That's true. If you're wondering, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you'll know. Now, there may be a City Beat category, best dressed Cincinnatian.
There you go.
So if there is,
Beach.
Write that Beach in. Just Beach. They know who I am. And they won't even question it that it's only just Beach. Honestly, they won't.
Give it to Beach.
Just nominate. Just if you nominate me for anything, if you write me in for any category, all you have to put is Beach.
Yes.
And they'll know. Trust me. I speak with confidence in saying that they won't be sitting around the office like, what? Who? What?
What's a beach?
The Beach. That place isn't even open anymore, is it? Just Beach. So here we have on the top of the Beach's head, we've got a Grassroots Smoking Snowboards hat. And I got that hat for buying a smoking snowboard. My jacket is Hemp Hoodland, one of my favorite lighter jackets. It's chilly. You're going to get decent today, so it's kind of a lighter jacket day. The T-shirt is Pure Hemp Rolling Papers, and that's a Young Maven. I'm pretty sure Young Maven tee. My pants are Patagonia. That's right, Patagonia, the big Patagonia. You can see my Green Springs Technology pen hanging out of my pocket there that I carry everywhere with me if I have a pocket to put it in. Hemptopia briefs, Satori socks, and the good old Saucony Jazz is on the feet. Again, that's part of the vegan line of Sauconys, made with hemp material. So there you have it. Someday they'll maybe even figure out how to do like hemp stitching. I wonder. I feel like for a very brief amount of time, and I'm going to have to look into it, see if anybody's making it again. There was actually hemp sewing fiber, sewing line, sewing stuff.
Thread?
That's the word, thread. That's what I've been commenting to myself, how low my IQ has gotten in my old age. I'm a word person, and I couldn't remember the word thread. Anyway, thank you. That's why Joe is here, folks.
Right.
Keep the show moving. All right. So there you have it. If you're wondering, what are you wearing, Beach? Best dressed Cincinnatian.
Yes.
head to toe every day. Um, there, and again, that's can clearly be your definition of best dressed.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be all suits and dapper and fancy this and all that. If I have to start wearing an ascot on the show to get best dressed, then I guess I'm gonna have to find some hemp ascots.
Yeah.
But anyway, best can just be, hey, best material for clothing dressed, because hemp is the best material for clothing on the planet. And there you have it. All right, let's get on to the news. I thought it was going to be a short news day. It's going to be an average news day. Quite a bit of news going on out there. This is kind of interesting. Uruguay, you may know, and I did. I think I might have even talked about Uruguay on the show when this happened, because it has been just recently. Uruguay was the first country to make recreational cannabis, personal use cannabis, legal. First country in the world. Good old Uruguay. I think Canada followed shortly after, and some others. But and again, the president or the leader of Uruguay lives in like a shack and drives this really old car. He's like this just average dude who's really trying to do the best for his country, I guess. But apparently, it is paid off in the fact that they accept cannabis so much that they're actually shipping 1,000 pounds of hemp flower. So this is CBD flower to the United States, which is, crazy. I feel like we're growing enough hemp flower in the United States to keep up with the demand for CBD. But apparently Uruguay's, and they're probably producing it and selling it, and the person that's going to bring this in is going to manufacture it probably for a cheaper price than they can possibly maybe buy it here in the United States. That may be the issue, to be honest with you. But everybody's making a big deal about it because it's 1,000 pounds, and it's flour, and it's 100% legal. So we'll see. I'm not sure if it's on its way or if it's shown up yet, but now that it's made the news, I'm sure the customs is gonna catch it at the ocean border just to make sure, just to test it, to make sure that it is in fact a CBD flower. So we'll see. I've been talking a lot about Nike. They're releasing yet. Now I think I might have even shown or tried to show a picture of this Stussy / Nike release. This is the Air Penny 2. I had a picture of the one that's in the front there, but this is the 4 different colorways. And so that one in the front, that upper, that darker natural, that's the hemp piece on these shoes. That bright green is the hemp material on those shoes, which I just love that bright green. As black and green it looks good together, and they could have gone with any color green. They could have gone with a darker green, but that kind of really bright green really shows off the hemp, so to speak, I suppose. And so I don't know if these are actually released or are being released. I think the ones in the front, the kind of the tricolor, black, natural, dark natural, I think those were the first pair, and they may have been released already. And then they're releasing these other colorways, possibly because the first release went really well. It's hard to say with these, but normally that's how it works. If you release something and it's popular, then all of a sudden you're releasing it in different colors. And that's how it works. So I'm glad to see that these shoes are producing well. And I would assume that the penny in these is Penny Hardaway, NBA player. Retired NBA player. But anyway, and again, because it was originally probably his shoe when he was in there, and they still make it because it's a popular design. And here it is, made out of hemp. Cool. Texas is pulling more shenanigans. I reported they said D8 was illegal. It was challenged, went to the highest court. The highest court said, no, it is not illegal. Now I think they're trying to write a law. The politicians are trying to write a law to make it illegal. And the one thing that I have seen out of most of this is that the veterans are raising a big stink about it. One quote that I saw from a veteran is, the legal over-the-counter D8 market is better for me than the medical marijuana process. He's found more relief using legal over-the-counter Delta 8 products than he found from the relief of medical marijuana Delta 9 products. Okay. And I think a lot of that is because I think Delta 8, everything I know about it, would be better for PTSD. It is much more calming than the average Delta 9. So Delta 9, it speeds up your heart rate. Now you can, all the kind of myths about Delta 9, what we call marijuana. Okay? It speeds up the heart rate. It opens up the small passageways of the lungs, makes it easier to breathe. It doesn't make you lazy. It may be that there is some that makes you more calm, and that's why people get that relief. I think it all works for pain relief. Some may make you less calm than others, and that's how people, regulate that as well. It can be very much like an upper. And so I don't think that anyone that's suffering from PTSD, anxiety, or even pain wants that Delta 9 buzz to relieve it. And I think Delta 8 is providing, once again, a lot of relief. We've seen it in the store. I personally talked to people in the stores that, kind of, I think, agree with this notion that they're getting the benefits, but they're not getting that intense physical side effects. I'm not going to say for sure whether paranoia is a natural side effect of Delta 8. We know for a fact that it's a natural side effect of Delta 9. And so that, someone who's suffering from PTSD doesn't need a substance that makes them paranoid.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why the Delta 8 and whatnot is, and CBD for that matter, is, I think that the Delta 8's a step up from CBD. So, the sufferer is a little more chronic or worse. They want that Delta 8, and the CBD is still helping too, in one way or another. So Texas is going to go in the wrong direction. We'll see. We'll see if they don't listen to the veterans and if they don't listen to the people, and they don't. Again, here's the thing. It was almost a year ago, I'm pretty sure, that they tried to make it illegal. And so I'm pretty sure they could just go back in 2022 and be like, okay, did a bunch of people go out and commit a bunch of heinous crimes while using D8? Or are they just going home and, using it safely and not going out and robbing people and blah, blah, blah. So, why try to ban it if it doesn't have negative side effects? If it's not having any negative side effects on people's health, and it's not having any negative side effects on people's criminal activity, so to speak, I guess it would be a positive effect on criminal activity. And I don't think that's happening. There's always been that drugs causes crime thing. And I'm like, well, okay, if a drug really causes crime, then yes, you should look into that. You should look into the criminals as well as the drug, maybe. But cannabis in hardly any form makes anyone go out and commit a bunch of crimes other than trying to steal cannabis, which is the newest crime. Yeah. Breaking into CBD stores, robbing CBD stores even. Not, which I think is funny. And I think the one reason why is because most cannabis shops have security. And so people don't run in and rob the cannabis shops of their cannabis, their Delta 9, their marijuana, as it's referred to. But we're seeing a lot of CBD stores getting broken into. And it's because we just don't have as much security. We don't have gates that we pull down every night and all that. And so it's easy market. And I just think it's interesting that there's a black market for CBD products, honestly. But we're seeing it more and more one way or another. All right. I mentioned the NFL. They are spending $1 million to research cannabis for pain management and concussions at a couple universities in California. I think we know, and again, the pain management's part of it, as the players' union telling management, we want cannabis to be legal for pain management. And this is going to be CBD. Now, I think there was going to be THC involved, but a big part of the study is going to be CBD for CET. CET is caused by concussions. When there is, concussions are huge, or just the NFL is just now getting to a point where it's going to, where it's admitting and it knows that concussion injuries, head injuries, are not something that they paid any attention to in the past, and it's something that affects the players much more, in their futures than not, one way or another. And so there is from redeveloping helmets and pads to the new concussion protocol, whereas if you even wobble, you get up and wobble, you're going to the concussion tent, which is, the right move. Head injuries are, super serious, and the NFL hasn't paid any attention to them. And, it's just, between the physical injuries that playing football causes on the body, head injuries are part of it, without a doubt. And so this will be interesting to see. I think that, I don't have any question that they're going to find cannabis is beneficial for pain management. It's going to be very interesting to see if it is, in fact, better for concussions. And, the one thing that I would right off hand knowing about CBD is that it is anti-inflammation. Concussions is, I believe, a swelling. The brain gets hit and then it gets bumped and swells and does, type of things. And so right out of the gate, you have to wonder if it's not going to be beneficial just for that part of the concussions. Our brain is wired, the endocannabinoid system. And so you can only hope that they'll be able to prove that CBDA can go into the brain and then instantly help the brain recover or have the side effects diminish faster or whatnot. Who knows? As far as concussions and things like that. So, a part of me is very close to this because of Darth Stoic, Tom with an M. I'm sorry, Tom with an H, who passed away. An employee of mine, worked for me for years and years and years. Very good friend, passed away, and he passed away due to a head injury. He hit his head. He didn't go to the hospital, and eventually it killed him. And so, I think that, if we can find better solutions for injuries like that, especially natural ones or things that may work hopefully instantly to help people with these things, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. That's Tom right there. Okay, so this is interesting. Texas, Rowdy Rooster Hemp animal bedding is showing a 350% increase in sales. I've talked about the animal bedding comes from what we call the herd or the shiv part of the stalk of the plant, same thing that we make hempcrete out of. is showing like really big gains in the animal world as animal bedding, for more than one reason. Again, natural. Hemp itself is antimicrobial, antibacterial, all the good antis, and so it's cleaner. I think that you can pack it more dense and then it fluffs out larger, maybe. I know that, I showed a picture of a person who had switched from, well, I don't know what the animal bedding was made of before, probably wood chips. So now you're not cutting down trees anymore. And the equivalent, it was like 6 bags of hemp was the equivalent of like 10 bags of what they were using previous or something like that. But, they were having to buy less material and getting more out of it when using hemp as their bedding. And I believe that was for horses. And so, because it was a large quantity. And again, you can use it from your little gerbil tank all the way up to your horse stable. We're seeing, it's good. I think there's one version of it where it's actually cat litter. You can kind of use it as a cat litter even. And so right on, Rowdy Rooster Hemp. I don't know other Rowdy Rooster Hemp, but good for them. Well, the FDA says we're going to do something, and then the FDA says we're not going to do something. So we're back to we're not going to do something, at least for a little while. And they're using, I don't know, they use like cannabis as an excuse to not come up with a solution for CBD. And I think we're going to go back to, we'll see. We're still early in the year that they said they were going to do something, but they have now officially said that we felt the pressure, but guess what? We're still not going to do anything for a couple months anyway. And I think they're going to put it off, and then they're probably going to put it off again. And I think there's, we may have to see Congress literally get involved one way or another. So we'll see. But the FDA is going to go back to dragging their feet when it comes to CBD, which is, again, ludicrous. It's ludicrous. I truly believe. But, this is what we need is we need some of these CBD companies, I guess, to do, come up with some studies, clinically researched, clinical, whatever it takes to get approved by the FDA for an over-the-counter aspirin. I don't know. What did Bayer have to do to get approved by the FDA to get their aspirin on the counter for over the counter? I don't know, but I think that's what we're going to have to do. I think it's going to have to be longer term studies on the effects of the human body of CBD. But as absurd as it seems, because it's all natural and safe. Again, we've been selling CBD for 10, 15 years, 12, 15 years at least. And go back to the same thing that I've always said about cannabis. Not one doctor has ever signed a birth or a death certificate stating that cannabis was the cause. Birth certificates, sure. Cannabis is probably the cause of a lot of births. So I can see if there was a cause, which we know what the cause of birth is, but I can definitely see cannabis being the cause for a lot of births. But never has no doctor has ever signed a death certificate stating that cannabis was the reason for death. Okay. After 10 years of some of the people that have been using CBD, like I would guess if it really did cause liver damage, I think we would be seeing that in the people that have been using CBD on a regular basis. for as long as you can think of. I mean, even if it was 5 years ago when, it was really the boom hit. And if you started using CBD then and you're still using CBD now, which according to, our reoccurring customers is true, then I think we're going to, we would start seeing these things happen, these side effects, these life-threatening side effects or truly detrimental side effects of long-term use showing up. And I don't know that we're seeing that yet either. So we'll, and of course I want to know. I'm no different than anyone else that wants to give or use a safe product. If it is unsafe, I do want to know. And I really think that, and if we have to prove that it's unsafe, then apparently on paper we need to do it. I wish someone would have started 5 years ago with a study, and it'd be done now, and whatever. And so, but this is an all natural substance. So, not saying that it can't cause you harm in large. Nothing in moderation can hurt you, but anything in more than moderation has the potential of doing damage. But we need the proof. If they haven't been able to prove that cannabis for Delta 9 over the last 80 years or so, since doctors could stop prescribing it or putting it in medicine or giving it to their patients, 1937, they have yet to prove that it is unhealthy. And so, CBD is just in the same line with that. It's like they don't want any proof anywhere saying that cannabis is healthy or at least not healthy. What they consider grass, which is generally regarded as safe. They still don't want that, even though we're proving every day that it should be. So anyway, someday, but that's what helps keep us alive here at the High Noon Hemp Show too. The Australians are finding that the best production of grain comes from either a French seed called Pheromone 12 or a Polish seed called Henola. So if you're looking to grow for grain, check those seeds out. I remember, years ago when I was working to legalize industrial hemp in Ohio, when I was working with Org, someone asked me, they were like, well, would you start growing? And I was like, yeah, I'd probably look into French hemp first. And they're like, well, you can't grow French hemp in the United States. And I'm like, what are you talking? They were like, well, you can't take, it wouldn't grow as well. I was like, well, how do you know that? And we don't know. Nobody would know that until we actually grew French hemp here. We've all the hemp that's in the United States was imported. Hemp did not grow. Cannabis was not indigenous to North America. Okay. And I've had people try to say that it was, but it was not. Okay. It was not growing in the United States until the Europeans brought it here. And that seed came from Europe, and most likely came from, at some point or another, came from Russia, which was the largest supplier of hemp seed or for fiber in the world for a while. Okay. And then, we started growing here and came up with what was American. It might have been seed from somewhere else, but, it was here. And it was actually proven on the USS Constitution. Half of the U.S. Constitution at one point or another was rigged with American-grown hemp sailcloth and Russian-grown hemp sailcloth to just show that our sailcloth, the sailcloth made from hemp grown here, was just as strong, just as good as the Russian sailcloth and essential to the Navy and legal trade. in the United States. And so, that's the beauty of hemp is you could bring the species over here. And when growing with grain, you need that male in there for that germplasm. You can experiment with that. You could take it with germplasm male, a plant from one species, with the seed of the female, or that that we know is good, and then see if it works better here. Who knows? I mean, that's the beauty, and that's why hemp is such a great plant. Is it has been so already genetically modified through breeding that I think we could come up with at this point, with all of the cannabis plants out there, we could continue to breed and come up with some even better grains, even better. The key with the grain would be quantity and size. Like I did see where someone has a hemp plant that's growing a hemp seed that's just a little bit bigger. That's a little bit more meat inside. That's a little bit more this and that. And so, the potential there, I can only imagine that if soon enough the evil agricultural companies decide that they want to genetically engineer, not genetically modify, genetically engineer cannabis, that would be one thing that they will try to do. So they'll try to find something that makes that cannabis produce a larger seed, because that would be beneficial to the market. I'm not saying it wouldn't. I don't know if we need genetically engineered. We just need to continue to genetically modify through breeding. I can see possibly now all of a sudden you're genetically engineering a hemp plant to grow to 30 feet instead of maybe 20 feet, or right now the 12 feet, which is kind of the height for fiber. 20, I think 24 is the record, which was just recently made, 24 foot tall. But if all of a sudden we're growing 30 or 40 foot, again, that's continuous fiber from the root to the top, making it even stronger, making it an even better material. And so, that's the only way that I could see genetically engineering coming into play. But once again, we continue to genetically modify through breeding, and look what we have now. We have a hemp fiber plant that's growing 20 to 25 feet tall,
Yeah.
which is unbelievable for the fiber market. We don't need the grain plant to grow that tall, but if we could produce, more seed per flower, that's where we want to go with the grain plant. And they're already genetically modifying the CBD because they've bred all the THC out now, for the most part, and so that's all it took was to breed the THC out, get that low THC, and then you get high CBD or high CBG, and a little bit of CBN growing naturally, which is important to the market now as well. So there you have it. French Pheromone 12 for grain, Polish Hinola for grain. If you're thinking about getting into the grain business, maybe start with those. I'm sure there's some seeds available now, domestic seeds available now, actually. But, we'll see. Here's interesting. North Dakota resolution is the politicians in North Dakota passed a resolution that encourages residents to buy American-made hemp flags. How about that? Which, again, original flags in the United States were made out of hemp or wool. That was it. That was basically what original flags were made out of. Here they mention how they're encouraging it because hemp is stronger and whatnot. But there was a concern. Who wants to guess what the concern is? I'll give you 5 seconds to guess in your head what the concern of encouraging North Dakotians to buying hemp flags is. Got it? You think you know what it is?
I do not.
They were concerned about the smell if someone burned one. There was actually a politician
Oh, wow.
who had to have raised his hand and been called to attention. And his concern was is if someone decides to burn, not that he wasn't concerned about the burning of the American flag as much as he was worried about the smell of the burning of an American hemp flag. No, you cannot get high from my jeans. That was a big question back in the day. Can I smoke your jeans? Can I smoke your hat? I even have a hat that says, "Do not smoke this hat," because that was a very popular question. Every once in a while, someone asks me, but it's less and less now when it comes to hemp. But all it's going to smell like is burning fiber. It is not going to smell like cannabis burning. It is not going to get you high. But anyway, so good stuff there. Good stuff there. This is awesome. How about this little? It's actually classified as a moped. Okay, this is a New Zealand FTN Motions is the name. It's called their Street Dog. Okay, and it's an e-motorcycle. They call it an e-motorcycle, but because of its size and engine and whatnot, it's actually classified as a moped, so you don't have to have a special license to own one of these. And the body is hemp composite, and so it came out of the idea because the owner of the company has been making hemp surfboards for the last 4 years, and he does this locally. And so that's where the whole idea of this hemp e-motorcycle came from, and made out of hemp composite where you see body material. So I don't think it's really like a whole lot. It's not the frame, but you can kind of see there where there are pieces that make up kind of a body. So how cool is that? Get yourself a hemp motorcycle, even electric. Again, I'd love the idea of a electric motorcycle being made out of hemp. What a great product. They're only going to make about 1,000 of them. And again, this is in New Zealand. FTN Motion. FTN Motion is the name of the company. It's called the Street Dog. Fun stuff right there. So I talked about I showed the study. We showed the study on how hemp there may be something in hemp seed that's good for or acts as a probiotic. They have actually figured it out. It's the N-trans caffeoyltyramine, better known as NCT, and the N-trans ferrotyramine, or NFT, which is what's showing the potential to support gut barrier. And so this was a hemp hull. So the inside of the seed, they take the outside, that hard shell, which is mostly fiber, and then they just have the hemp hulls. And again, the study that showed how it is just as beneficial as some of the over-the-counter probiotics existing now. And that may be exactly where this came from. And this is dumbing it down, even though it's still too much for me. These words are very big. As to how hemp hearts can be probiotic, good for the gut. Just another way that the food product itself is so super beneficial to the human body. Protein, and some other things, vitamins and minerals and whatnot. And so that omega-6, omega-3, it's supposed to have that perfect 3-to-1 ratio for your omega essential fatty acids. And so, this is just another thing to be able to say, well, now it actually helps as a probiotic and helps with things in your gut as it's doing its thing. Once again, more benefits to the human body, and why it should be in everybody's pantry. Everybody should have it. They're going to change it to a spoonful of hemp a day, keeps the doctor away, because I think that's true. Maybe 2 spoonfuls. Because I've actually seen a diet where that's part of the diet is 2 spoonfuls of hemp seed, at least in the morning for sure, because it's so filling. It doesn't take much, to give you the sense of being full or not craving food. Try it, look into it, see what you think. We'll find out. So I was talking about last week about the Hemp Blocks company. So here is the Hemp Blocks company. This is what they're making. They make over 3,000 to 10,000 of these a month. And again, this is like a large cinder block for larger products. And you would just stack them just like you would any other cinder block. Yeah. You could run rebarb down the middle, just like they do any other cinder block if you need to reinforce the sway strength of the building that you are using these for. And so, more hemp construction material being made every day, no doubt about it. And here's a picture of the herd, or the shiv, as it's sometimes called in the industry. This is from, and I talked about this last week, where the Lower Sioux are going to build a house and study it, to find out the benefits or the not benefits of using excuse me, hempcrete in their material. And so again, this is what it looks like in its raw material form when you're going to use it, basically for that bedding, or for hempcrete building material, one way or another. This is that material that Rowdy Rooster Hemp is selling a lot of more of these days, getting made into houses all over the world as we speak, in buildings at this point. So Pamela Anderson opened up her purse recently to show that she carries CBD oil for her arthritis with her everywhere she goes. I did this before with someone, a couple places. This is a thing with celebrities. Hey, open up your purse. What's in there? And hey, okay, this is what I got. Well, recently she did that somewhere, and CBD oil was one of the first things that she mentioned, and why she used it was for arthritis. So there you have it. She's looking okay these days still. Good old Pamela Anderson. Article, omega-3 rich foods you can easily add to your diet. Hemp seed was number 2 behind salmon. So once again, for vegetarians or vegans, of course, salmon was okay for vegetarians, probably because a lot of vegetarians eat fish still. Hemp is one of the best choices that you can make for omega-3. As I just mentioned, it's omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is 3-to-1, which, from my understanding, dietitians, and the one article that it wasn't this one. It might have actually been this one. This person had so many letters behind her name, dietitian this, blah, blah, blah. And so, 3-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is supposed to be one of the better ones for those essential fatty acids. Hemp has that. And so, if you are looking for omega-6, omega-3, or any essential fatty acids, hemp is a good source. It's a very good source for that, as well as in, like I said, protein, vitamins, minerals, all kinds of stuff. And you can find hemp foods on your shelves from just whole seed. Once again, like I was saying, just a spoonful, or you can throw it on a salad. You can throw it on your oatmeal. You can put it in your pesto. You can do so many things with the whole seed. The whole seed is then adds fiber, becomes high in fiber, and you can eat that like a snack food, or if you protein powder that's made with the whole seed, and a lot of times it'll say right there like high in fiber, which means they're probably using the whole seed in that product. And, a lot of smoothie recipes, you can add hemp seed to it. A lot of places that make smoothies has hemp seed as an option. At least they should. And so, it's the difference between the whole or using basically like a protein powder or something that's made for shakes and or smoothies and whatnot. So, all right, there you have it for the news this week here on the High Noon Hemp Show. Not too many events. February 25th and 26th, you have the Atlanta Hemp World Festival. That's at the Westside Cultural Arts Center. And then, of course, end of March, good old NOCO out at the Broadmoor Resort in Colorado Springs. And so that's about it. Didn't have any questions that I saw this week. If you have any questions, you can Facebook me, you can email me, you can do all that. My thoughts, once again, are clearly illustrated. I have no particular thoughts that I want to key in on at the end of the show, and I put all the other thoughts that I had here during the show. Right. That being said, thanks everybody for watching. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See you all next week.